All right, kids, it's time for Bingo is Life.
Hey!
The podcast.
Unbelievable.
I'm 98.5% of Jay's Air. Joined over here by Mike Howdy Shell.
Hey.
Chris Howdy Shell.
Hola.
Mom Shackles.
Hi.
And we have some great guests in the Silent Dave and Aaron chair coming up.
Ooh.
I heard Bingo was packed. I didn't get to...
You know what? We ran out of cards. It doesn't
God.
Yeah, it doesn't happen that often, but tonight we ran out of cards.
Do you know how many cards you have?
About
150. Yeah.
Dude.
So, yeah.
I went
it
to
was
Costco
packed.
before I came here, and it was deserted, and then I came here, and I was like, oh, here they are.
Yeah.
The world in the basement.
It's
Right,
This
right.
is that magical Harrisonburg time in which JMU is about to graduate, so everyone in the brother has nothing to do.
But be here and play some bingo.
Yes.
Bone with everything.
Yeah.
That was good. It was a good show.
It was fun. Everybody was in it. We had lovers this evening.
Yeah.
That never happens.
We
had two people who both of their birthdays are today.
Yeah, right.
They're both 21.
Yep.
And then it got a little weird.
It did get weird.
This lady comes up to me. She goes, "Make them kiss."
Make them kiss.
And you're like, what do you mean
What?
make them kiss?
We can't just make people kiss. It's 2025.
Yeah, that's just weird.
That was so 2023.
Yeah.
Come
yeah,
on.
Yeah.
But they were in a relationship with each other?
They were engaged.
They weren't twins?
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
It's Game of Thrones in here.
I
No,
hope
it
they've
was-
met each other's parents and don't have the parent trap situation going to happen at their wedding. 'Cause
But
that would be
I-
wild.
I will throw out there, I don't think we've ever had anybody come up to us and yell, "Make them kiss."
Yes, it got weird.
It did get weird.
And then multiple
some
people.
context, please.
Yeah, like you want me
Because
to do what?
there was other people who came up like, yeah, make them kiss. Like, what kind of world are we creating here?
Well, I'm all about two people who don't know each other,
Yeah.
like helping each other to win
Yes,
a prize.
yes.
But I thought they were taking that concept
little
and really
next
running
level.
with it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Well,
no, we gotta pull that back.
Yeah. So, anyways, exciting time at Bingo. I hope you guys had a good time. I think it was a lot of fun.
It's a scene.
It is.
Yeah.
So before we get started, we kind of always do
Plugs.
the plugs.
Mm-hmm.
So you got something there, Mom Shackles?
Oh, yeah. I do.
I know you do.
There's always something.
I know you do.
We got the documentary about. Well, we got this documentary coming on Friday and next Wednesday, and it's becoming Led Zeppelin.
Oh,
and it's like
cool.
the only authorized by the band documentary that
This is a Court Square.
it is.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
So Friday at 7 and next Wednesday at 2.
Sweet.
I'm gonna play some the videos before we start, so you can sing along if you feel like howling and growling and wailing.
Yeah,
which
that's
is what I like to
That's
do.
easy sing-along music.
Yeah, I'm
It's a levy break.
Do you want to buy some popcorn? I'll just be changing the words in the lobby.
Oh.
Well, Led Zeppelin, they can move some popcorn.
Oh yeah. Yeah, they move popcorn. It's true. I really want to introduce the guests, but I also, before we jump into that, I'm going to go ahead and plug the show.
Yeah.
This Saturday, we have a songwriters showcase at Sagebird that I'm super excited about. So if you're hearing this and it's Wednesday, hey, this
You still got
Saturday,
time.
you still have time. May 17th, Saturday, we're going to have a fun show at Sagebird Cidery. It's actually a free show. Starts at 8 p.m. And it's going to feature Julia Cottrell of Amateur Rodeo, who is fantastic. If you've never seen Amateur Rodeo, they're probably one of the hottest bands coming out of Harrisonburg right now. Truth.
Up and comers.
Yeah, they're blowing up.
Without any content on the internet.
I know. I've been trying to put stuff with them. It's so
It's, like, hard to
challenging.
find, yeah.
She's like, they have like 3 YouTube videos.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
But they're everywhere right now, and they're playing.
Got to see
a
them
lot.
live.
Yeah, so you got to see them live. So Julia Cottrell, she's an amazing songwriter. Myself and our next guest, our guest for this evening. Folks, I'm so excited because I've totally landed. I'm in fan land. I started listening to Nathan Moore years ago. He played at the Little Grill. I mean, I'm talking years ago, early 2000s. I'm sure you don't remember that.
So both of you are really old. I mean, unlike me.
Let's not talk about that. So I saw him back then a long time ago, and I was like, oh, he's cool. Disappeared off my radar. And then a couple years ago, right after COVID, I started watching him online. And he was doing this funny thing where he was like reading the news and just talking about it. And then I saw he started doing this thing called daily practice, in which every evening he would get together. He would just set online and play songs. I'm hoping he'll talk about it. I'm sure he will. And so I was enamored by him. I asked him to play the Paul Simon show that we did here in town. He said yes. We had a wonderful evening. Then I asked him once again to play for this Bob Dylan show. He was like, yeah, but can I play my own songs sometimes? So this Saturday, Nathan Moore is going to be playing a set of his own music at Sagebird on Saturday the 17th. And he's here right now. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Nathan Moore.
Here.
Welcome aboard.
That was
thanks for
such
having me.
a long introduction. I'm so sorry. It just kept going.
You left out so much.
I know, but it was so long already. I was like, I got to end this now.
You know, you got me out of the house for the first time to open for you guys at Marino's.
That's right.
That was
That's
the
right,
first gig
Marino's.
I'd done in years then.
That was like a year ago.
I think
When
it was
was that?
multiple years ago.
Yeah, probably.
Somehow we
No.
haven't been asked to play there again.
You filled up.
Sorry
that
about
patio.
that.
No, they said, do you want to be the house band? Yeah. Then the crickets.
Yeah, no. Then the guy who was running it
Oh,
quit
that's
or
right. Then he-
something. I don't
All
know.
right.
He sold it or something.
So
You're based in Stanton,
Stanton, Virginia. Born and raised.
born and raised in Staunton, Virginia.
Yeah, that's how we know you're not from there.
That's right.
That's how
That's the giveaway.
Google calls it Staunton.
Yeah. And Siri.
That's how we know Google's not from there.
That's
you
awesome.
ain't from around here, Googs.
Man. But I got, nathansland.com. It's your website. And on there, I think you did something that I think is really great. It's a timeline. You explain, I think you explain your story. And because that to me is what I am so interested in this. You grew up here in Stanton, but you moved away. You've been gone for a while.
Yeah,
You were gone
when
for a while.
I quit Mary Washington College where I was going. I dropped out of there when I was, I guess, 22 and got a one-way ticket to the live music capital of the world, so I'd always heard, Austin, Texas.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yep.
Cool.
Landed in Austin, Texas, changed my name to Mr. Hat.
No, you didn't.
Mr.
I did.
That's
This is
awesome.
way before
Where-
South Park. Gotta say, way before South Park. It's one of the many things the universe has stolen directly from me.
Of course. Thanks, universe.
Why did you decide to change your name?
Well, I mean, I guess that's just what you do for one. That's what you do. That's what you did then, anyways. As far as I knew, that's what I was supposed to do. But I also was a little bit inspired. I don't think I'm trying to remember my actual motivation because I have no idea what it actually was. But I did know that it wasn't weird. That when you go out into the world to carve your thing, you're gonna probably change your name unless it has a good ring to it already. I don't know. Same reason Robert Zimmerman did it, or any. I wonder how many of my heroes are actually named that at birth.
Right.
A lot of times you don't even know that that's the case, but.
Unfortunately, Howdy Shell is what we were born with.
Yeah.
And we just have to go with it.
Yeah. No, we
Got
got
a nice ring to it.
No, it doesn't.
No,
it
yeah,
does
but you can break it down.
Did
into
y'all
so many
grow up
elements.
here?
Yeah.
So y'all never did the leap.
That's right. We never.
You never went to New York City
No,
to
no,
make it
no.
to do the thing. You know,
I got to
big
tell you
leap.
though, I did get to play in New
Yeah,
York
right.
City.
Oh,
I,
you did?
Yeah, I did. I played. I played 2 gigs. I got to play at Pete's Candy Store.
Oh, that's a
which
good one.
I guarantee. I knew that you'd
Oh,
play
yeah.
there, and I played at this fantastic. It was a weekend. It was a. I can't even tell you the name. I'm sure it doesn't exist anymore, but it was by NYU. It was in the Village, and I thought I was on top of the world.
It's exciting.
It
Isn't it?
was. It was. And it was a bar that you only get paid based on who says they came to see you play.
Oh, isn't that
Oh,
amazing?
yeah.
Because you're
Right.
on a bill with a bunch of different bands,
And they ask you who are you here to see?
yeah,
right?
they asked as you come in. They're like, all right, here's who you here, and then but this was so random. We somehow knew like 15 people in New York at that
Nice,
time.
yeah.
It was just and it ended up being okay.
Yeah.
You know, where
Yeah.
you're like, it was okay.
Out of 9 million people, you got 15 of them there.
Yeah, I know. Where did so no? You go to Austin to kick it off, but when your
Oh,
time.
wait, a little bit more on that story.
Yeah,
The Mr.
please.
Hat thing came from, I wrote a song called Mr. Hat. And after I wrote that song, I was like, because before that song, like every song I ever wrote, I knew exactly which one of my heroes I was trying to be like. Like I'm trying to sound like Bob Dylan or Tom Waits or Leonard Cohen or whatever. Like I was just emulating my heroes. Mr. Hat came and I was like, who's that? Is that me? Maybe that's me. I think that's going to be me.
What do you mean
Right.
came?
There's
Explain that.
just a song.
And
just
it
writing
was
it.
about Mr. Hat.
I just Mr. Hat saved himself some time
Wow.
by saying that nothing is bigger than the mind. It was, it's cheesy young lyrics, but
love it.
I was just like, where'd that? I don't know who that is.
So it was
And
not. It sprung from the unconscious depths. It wasn't a laborious process of coming up with your new name.
right. Yeah, it was just a song that came
like that.
whimsically.
And
But
wasn't-
then I also had this sort of fascination with that. You remember the movie Turk 182?
Oh God.
Anybody see that? Remember that?
No.
No, Turk 182. All right,
No.
wait. Stop.
Stop everything.
We'll be back in an hour and a
Everybody
half.
hit pause.
And we're back. All right.
Wow, that
Wasn't
was
that
a great.
amazing?
That was
So
amazing.
good, right?
Holy cow.
I'm telling you.
Turk. That's why they
Who
named
knew?
the Turks in Harrisonburg this whole
Right, right.
I like the 185 part. I really like that part. That's good.
So the
First 184, not so much.
180. the idea of Turk 182 is this guy
Oh,
lost,
that was what it was. Sorry.
lost his brother. His brother was a firefighter, and he died because of malfeasance or something about the budgeting of the fire department or something. He died, and he didn't have to. So his brother just started spray painting Turk 182 all over the place, just everywhere, like. And it would be like on TV, and like it became this whole mystery in the city. Like, what is this Turk 182? And then it's revealed that was his badge number and all this stuff.
Rosebud.
And thank you. Right. So my vision was I'm going to move to Texas, Mr. Hat, and my girlfriend and I at the time came up with this little symbol. It was like a infinity propeller and a hat, and an infinity propeller for eyes and a nose. And I was just going to go tag Austin with this.
Yes.
This
Everywhere.
Everywhere.
Mr.
Just,
Hat.
What is this? Why do I keep? It's like the Fendel sticker.
Oh God, it is
And
everywhere.
they did
They've
it.
done
I mean,
it.
they
Yeah,
actually
yeah,
did it.
yeah.
Congratulations, guys.
I think I hit a couple of bathroom stalls and lost steam. I didn't really go the extra measure to pull this whole thing off.
What time frame are we talking here?
This would be like 92.
Awesome.
Good times.
Good times.
92. Oh my gosh.
And so when you hit town, you started playing open mics.
Open mics, exactly. Yeah.
And tell us more. Was it how was it a long, hard breakthrough or?
Well, it was. After a few months, I was like, "Oh my gosh, I can't do it." I would go to venues and watch the bands that were successful there, and just be like, "How could I ever become that?" Like I have this visceral memory of like being in this bar and they were playing for tips. So what did the guy do? He like stepped off the stage onto the round little table in the front row, and then walked table to table, collecting tips from everybody. And I mean, it was just like, I was like, wow, you really have to like do whatever it takes.
Yeah.
And I really didn't know if I was cut out for it. And one night I was walking drunk down 6th Street, and there was this group of 5 people busking, and the sound they were making, I was just like so immediately captured by the sound of their music. And I was like, this is what I want to do. Turns out they were 5 people from Virginia.
Ah,
from Northern Virginia down there. They're called Buzzard's Breath. They're mandolins, fiddles, just 2 ladies, 2 guys busking there on the street, and I befriended them and started hanging out with them. And next thing you know, half their band went back to Virginia, and the other half took me to Santa Fe, New Mexico to start a band.
Whoa.
Now, what were you when you got there? When you left for Austin, what were you into? What kind of music were you playing?
Boy, that's tricky. That's really tricky because I started out as like a 9-year-old with my father's 45s collection, which was everything from the 50s, 60s, 70s even. And then I was also 13 when MTV broke out.
Yeah.
I was also a skate punk that really loved, the Sex Pistols and the Exploited. And when I ran for public office in high school, Black Flags, Rise Above was my theme song. But then I also had a real sort of gravity towards the classic songwriters, Bob Dylan, John Prine, Greg Brown, that kind of stuff. My dad was the kind of guy that would stop a song and rewind a lyric and make me listen. Did you hear that?
Yeah.
He would stop the world from spinning and be like, whoa, hold on, stop it, rewind, or move the needle, whichever it was, and just check that out. And just the line, like, oh, that is, and I got it. That was the thing I'm most proud of. It's not just that he did it, but I understood somehow instinctively why he did it.
Was he also a musician?
No. Chemistry teacher at Lehigh.
Okay. But he appreciated, I guess, words.
He really did.
The formula
magic.
of
Yeah,
words.
the formula, the magic.
He really did.
Cool.
Yeah. Well, it's funny with with Oliver.
Yeah.
When I was introducing him to the Beatles.
Yeah.
And you listen to Hey Jude for the first time.
Sure. Yeah.
And I know because it's a popular song and people are like, but I'm like, yeah, for the next 8 minutes, we just sat here.
Yeah. Right.
You just, and yeah, they're going to you just sit here, just enjoy it, let it ride.
Yeah.
And oh man, it's so good to listen to Sha-na-na-na for the first time.
Right.
For the first time.
Oh my God. It's just, it's magical. We actually, Paul McCartney might be my superhero. Sorry about this. I just want, if Paul McCartney ever hears this, I want you to know we went and saw.
We tried so hard.
We went and saw Paul McCartney in Charlottesville,
Yeah.
and it was such a magical show. I don't know if it was.
When was that?
It was like
A few years ago.
3
years ago.
no,
Pre-COVID?
five years. It was pre-COVID.
It was pre-COVID. You're right.
But the crazy thing was he played John Paul Jones, and I was able to just get online and get tickets for like $50. It was like no big deal. It was like, oh, you want to go see Paul McCartney? Here you go. And I was like, what? And so here I am. We took our dad, and Mariana went, and we're not that far away from him, and you're like, I'm hearing a Beatle.
I know, right? Yeah.
I mean, it's magical. But
Some would say the Beatle.
yeah.
I just wanted to be
So
controversial.
You started out writing at a young age?
I did, yeah. I guess my first couplet song or whatever is probably when I was like 10 or 11.
And who were you emulating at that point?
Well, like I say, my dad's 45 collection was a huge. He had boxes and boxes of 45s.
how do
And
you-
to me, like as a child, like 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, on, dropping that needle on those records.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Each one was a world in and of itself.
Yeah.
I mean, it was, and I just couldn't believe how fantastic that world was and how swept away it was just so exciting. Like, oh, what's this one? Like, you just be intrigued by the design on the thing or the name, or like, oh, who are these people? And you stick in, and having no point of reference. It was just really such a magical journey. That
Well, how do you go from listening to now you're writing your own? How do you make that change? What because you were young, right? You're pretty young when you started writing, huh?
I guess,
What made you
I
decide,
finally got
I'm
a
gonna start
guitar
doing
when
this?
I was 12, I think. And I did have like a saxophone when I was in 6th grade and hated it.
Yeah.
So I had the whole like
Yeah.
that preliminary thing where you're like, oh yeah, well I had to take lessons and hated it.
Yeah.
But I don't really have any memory of a real moment or anything. I just remember I wanted a guitar. Mom got me one, and I just off and running.
Yeah.
Never looked
Right.
back.
That's cool.
Our parents' 45 collection has
Yep,
affected
same.
us so insane.
We were listening to Louis Prima this evening,
yeah,
and that was
Old
one
Man
of the
Moses.
45s
Is that a big
that
part
they
of
had.
your childhood too?
Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah. No, it's
It's something about the 45s too, because they were all just loose.
there's
Yeah.
There's no album to
Yeah.
create a preconception
Yeah.
going in. It was just dropping the needle and stepping
One-
into their world.
One of my favorite 45s that we had was Centerfold.
Oh, yeah.
That
Jay Giles band.
That was one of the first ones I ever bought myself.
And-
I had that 45.
And on the other side, Rage in the Cage. And
Da,
I
da,
just,
da, da, da,
yeah,
da, da.
I mean, I can remember, but no one else knows that stupid song, okay? No one, but I'm like, Jake Osmond, Rage in the Cage. And they're like, that's the
talking
B side to Centerfold, folks. No one, it's a deep cut. I
That
promise
is
you.
that is a deep cut. I had that 45, but I think I would have missed that trivia question.
Did you teach yourself to play, or did you take lessons? or-
I had a couple of friends that played, and I would pick their brains. Mom got me like a lesson. I had like 2 lessons. I remember this guy Ty taught me an REM song in his basement or whatever for $20. That was like my first official lesson. Like, oh well, my friend's son teaches guitar and that kind of thing, and I went. But I didn't have like a mentor. It was sort of a one-off. The first song I ever learned was taught to me by the physics teacher that taught right next door to my dad at the high school, Gene Blackmer. He taught me Eleanor Rigby.
Yes.
First song I ever learned.
That's a great song to
Yeah.
learn. Yeah, no, that was one of the earlier ones we did. I took guitar in high school, and Miss Bonts,
Yep,
which
yep.
later became Miss Wampler.
Yep, sure.
She was like, "We're gonna play Eleanor Rigby," which is that E minor and
Yeah.
C. You know, you
yeah.
get to learn that.
That's a
That-
great
That little drop down. Isn't it?
Yeah.
That interval is still my
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
right. Oh, it's so good. It's so good.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to tell you, not to skip ahead. I'm happy to get there, but you're writing some incredible songs. Your last album is it's in my regular rotation.
Well,
But
thank you very much.
yeah, so that album is it Holler and Hope? Is that the name
Holler
of it?
and Hope. Yeah.
Folks, get on the thing.
Get it.
And
Look it
listen
up.
to it. The song, actually, Holler and Hope, is one of my favorite songs on that album. And one of the last lines from that is, I'm going to bastardize it. But it says, it doesn't matter who throws down that rope, but you're just going to be down there and you're going to holler and hope. And I feel that. There is something about a lyric that will grab you. And man, that one gets me because I think it's because we all are circling this great earth and confused, and we're all looking for that thing, and I feel it doesn't matter who is giving you what you need, but man, you just really need it. And I just appreciate that
Amen.
line.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, no, but
You know that record was made during the pandemic, and
cool.
and it was made with it's something I've done before, but it was made with online on the live stream with people
Right.
sending me parts that they would record at home. So there was all these anonymous. I mean, I woke up one day and there was a guy in New Zealand
Whoa.
that sent a whole horn arrangement. I woke up to my inbox with a horn arrangement for one of the tracks. I mean, basically, you would go to my website, download the master, the master track, the follow track, import it into your DAW and sing a harmony or play a guitar lead and send it to me, and then they would watch me mix it into the session on the live stream. So that's
Yep.
that's
This-
the
this
way
was
that
af-
record was made.
After you had your podcast going, or how are these people connecting with you?
I mean, I've been doing this stuff for a long time.
Yeah.
But by stuff, you mean you'd be online and people would be fans of yours and part of an online community of musicians.
Well, I guess not really. It all sort of stems from my touring because I was in a couple of different bands and a touring artist for 20 some years or whatever. So that was all that. So then there was this. I'm just afraid to open this can of worms because it's too long of a story to really tell on a podcast. But there's this thing that happened where I was starting to get a little frustrated with my solo touring after touring with these bands and needing this energy. And then I went on some tours by myself, and it was sort of boring and exhausting. And all of a sudden I did this thing called Hippie Fiasco Rides Again, where what ended up happening was we live streamed 24/7 and only played where people invited us. So we had a website called hippiefiasco.com, and people would go fill out a form, and if you had $500, a bottle of Maker's Mark, and would allow a cat, we were on our way. And for 4 months we traveled America playing every single invite we got on that website, web streaming 24/7.
Quick question.
Wow.
What instrument did the cat play?
Right.
Now, who is we in this context?
Well, it was me, and I mean, it became sort of like a reality show. It was 24/7. So my tour manager, Chad Galactic, classic dude, the merch girl, Liz Bunny, and the cat Gypsy, and the four of us for 4 months. We started at Hippie Hill in San Francisco and wound up at High Sierra Music Festival, and along the way did South by Southwest. We did New Orleans Mardi Gras, I think. We ended up getting an invite from Relics Music Magazine.
Whoa.
We played on the rooftop of Relics in New York City. I mean, it really caught on, and it became this whole thing. We actually
Why did you
we
stop?
actually actually ran into Chris Robinson from the Black Crowes at an Applebee's outside of Belfast.
You know, like you
And
do.
see, this was still in my touring days, so we had real gigs also along the way. So I was playing Delfest. My band, Surprising Mr. Davis, was featured at South by Southwest. So we were taking this webcast backstage, behind the scenes. Like anybody that tuned in was just with me wherever I was in this odyssey. And that was like 2010 or something. We were on a platform called Ustream that doesn't even exist anymore.
Of course. That's cool.
So that sort of was like,
Now, is this archived
that was my
at all?
foray into like online streaming and sort of feeling like a little bit of a pioneer in that world.
Right.
And that's why I have such a swagger about my YouTube or whatever, just because I
Yeah.
feel like one of the first. Even if it didn't get me huge acclaim, I still was one of the first.
What was the line from that to a random guy in New Zealand writing a horn arrangement for your song?
Well, he actually met me on Jam Cruise, which
Oh.
Jam Cruise is something I did every year for like 10 years. They paid me to come host a thing called The Spot, which was just sitting in one spot all night long and hosting sort of like a porch pick, but on a cruise ship with a festival happening all around.
Oh my God.
That's another long story.
That sounds like a dream gig. But, I mean, there was but you did it for 10 years.
It's just,
so, yeah.
it all sort of is in the one through thread of all these things is somehow or another I became sort of known for destroying the fourth wall. You know that concept?
Yeah.
Someone else described that concept.
That would be the fourth wall in theater. There's the three walls surrounding the theater, and the fourth wall is the one between you and the audience. And so
Right.
if you're taking the fourth wall down, that means you are participating with the audience and acknowledging them and incorporating them into your performance.
Right. And it's just and somehow or
Good job,
another,
Jay.
like
He's theater guy right there.
through like the Hippie Fiasco and stuff like that. Like the Hippie Fiasco made that record as well, where we were streaming 24/7 and just like, hey, you wherever we were, you want to be on the record? And like we'd go off into a room and you'd like lay down a part. We got 300 parts sent in from all around the world for the Hippie Fiasco Rides Again record, which all these things used to be on Spotify, but my company that did that before went bankrupt a few years ago. So that's why only Holler and Hope and a couple other
I
are
wonder.
still on Spotify.
So
Okay.
okay,
It's starting to make sense.
yeah,
now.
that answers questions because I was like, I know you've been playing music forever. You should have 15, 20 albums on here.
made like 40 records.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, that makes sense. And I want to find them.
Because my original band, back to the beginning, that we left to Austin and moved to Santa Fe, we were called the Musement, and we were based out of New Mexico, and that was like the first 12 years of my musical career. Like we were a band, just doing it, and you know, it took several years to grow New Mexico, and then we got that going. Then we went back to Austin to try to be sort of triumphant or whatever, and then we got a manager from there, and then we got signed to High Sierra Records, and then we were, you know, doing the tour bus, nationwide touring until the band broke up.
Right.
I mean, that's making it, right?
Yeah, we were living the dream.
Yeah.
We
That's
did
it. That's
we
it. That's
definitely
it.
did it.
We had Trent Wagler on here. Was it last week? Yeah.
Week
I
before.
listened
Week
to that
before.
one. So
Yeah.
great.
Yeah, I mean, and you know, there's a guy who's just
Yep.
been plugging away, you know, for 30 years,
Thousands of years.
1,000 years. But yeah, no, but I mean, but you know, it's just amazing. It's so much work.
It is. It really is.
Yeah.
And when did you relocate back to Staunton?
After the Musement broke up, I came back home for a little while, just to figure myself out a little bit, and then
This is pre-pandemic.
yeah, this is I can't even remember when it was, but
Just check the timeline on the website. It's all there.
you know, I actually went into ChatGPT just 2 nights ago just to see what would happen, and copy and pasted that timeline and said, "Tell me this in a short story."
Nice.
It was fun to see.
Yeah.
To read that.
I did this is the most conceited thing you can do. I took a song I wrote, gave it the lyrics, and said, "Tell me what this song means." It's the worst.
That's nice.
It's so much fun.
Did you love what it
I
said?
did.
I love how it says stuff.
I
too.
know.
I'm such a sucker
I know,
for
me
it. I'm just
too.
like, really?
Well, it makes me realize how much I just desire attention.
Well, and it's so nice. It's like all positive.
It's
like,
so
Yeah.
positive.
Yeah.
great.
And I'm super nice to it too. I'm like, when I'm like, hey, will you please draw me a picture of a
Please.
Oh, thank you. I
Thank
love
you.
that.
That looks great.
I'm giving it compliments. It's like, whoa, we really knocked it out of the park that time.
Actually, this leads me to the next
Way to go,
thing
buddy.
I really wanted to say is I listened to another podcast that was talking about the future of art with AI, because AI is going to essentially, it's because you can make pictures, it'll make a #1 song eventually. And one of the things that these guys were saying was, hey, you know, in the future, people are going to really want authenticity.
Yeah, value it. Yeah.
That's going to be currency. Your artist currency is how authentic are you? And I would say that when I'm watching you on daily practice, that's the most authentic. It really break fourth wall stuff.
Yeah.
That's what it is. That's
Yeah.
what I see is somebody who's saying, "Well, should I talk in between these songs?" I mean, I'm just when I listen to that, I laugh because I know what you're. I mean, we're doing it. I know what you're saying. I
Right,
mean,
right.
it's
So for the people that have never seen the practice, how did that start? What exactly is it? So people know like what we're talking about, because we've been watching it now. I love it.
It's trouble.
It is
It's trouble that it comes on at midnight. babe.
Yeah, it comes on at
Come
midnight.
on, man.
Anyways,
You got to
tell-
remember though, that's 9 on
Yeah,
the West
right.
Coast,
Yeah,
so
right,
it's actually not the cool late night radio thing. That I'm not like coast to coast AM.
Right.
in my
Still
mind.
on West Coast time.
Right.
So how did it start? What do people need to know about this?
Well, I mean, I guess it really started when the pandemic hit. I already like sort of stopped touring a little bit and stuff, but when we all got under lockdown, one day I was just like, I guess we got to fire the Hippie Fiasco Rides Again thing back up, the live stream, because that was a 24/7 stream. And so I created Hippie Fiasco TV on YouTube and just started going live from my basement and just sort of hosting Zoom calls and games and like, you know, just bingo. We even did bingo, and, you know, like just
Fun.
and just like long form, I would go on for hours at a time, and ended up making that record, Holler and Hope, and all that was during the pandemic. And then when lockdown ended, I was like, okay, well, put it back to bed. But during that time, I had developed, like a new crowd of people that were used to seeing me on YouTube and stuff, and I still wasn't touring. So after about a year or two of not doing anything, people were sort of reaching out to me like, are you going to stream anymore? Are you going to do anything? And like, I don't know. And then one day I was just like, okay, let's do it. And I don't think I was started at midnight. I can't remember exactly how it happened. And it took like a couple of weeks before the idea of the daily practice found itself. But then once I had, that was about a year ago. And once it was called the daily practice, it really gave me sort of a focus, because I realized through thinking about it, for the 40 years that I'd been a songwriter, I never once practiced. I never practiced.
Yeah, it's funny. We talked about that this morning. Yeah.
And I would go, I would be playing like an important show in the middle of one of my most popular songs, and I would get to the harmonica break and be like, really, dude, you're still winging this harmonica break? Why? Why don't you have some default way that it goes? Because as a songwriter, for me, like, I just wanted to write the next song. That's all I ever did. I was always writing the next song. And that's why I have too many songs. But I never once, the only practice I got was performing those songs. So if a song had been performed more times than others, it had gotten sort of more practice, but still I never once practiced it.
Yeah.
And so I was like, okay, why don't I practice my songs?
You're really improvising quite a bit.
Every night.
Yeah.
Which works really well sometimes, and then works really not well.
That's Mom Shackle's thing. She's in the local improv group.
Yeah, so it's interesting to hear it from a musical perspective.
Mm-hmm.
What's your?
I mean, the rub is that the improv thing can have rewards that are so profound. You're like, you never would have come up with that.
Right, yeah.
And same with like a harmonica solo in a song. Like I would be like, one night I would just be like, how did I do that? That was so cool. So then you're just counting on that to happen again the next time.
Yeah.
And when it doesn't, and then it doesn't again, you're just like, what are you doing, son?
Yeah.
You are not a professional at this point. You're
Did you start organized, take an organized approach, like working on scales, like a rational, analytical take on it?
Not on the live stream. On the live stream, it sort of started out, it was, again, with the fourth wall thing. Like one of the things that really drives the live stream is our Discord server. Are you guys hip to the Discord?
Yeah.
And
Totally hip.
A friend of mine.
Totally hip.
Got a 15-year-old, gonna be 16. He's on the Discord.
Completely hip.
So a friend of mine, actually, that was very involved in the original Hippie Fiasco tour, is a coder, and like he started Jambase. That you ever heard
What?
of Jambase.com? He's one of the original guys at Jambase.
Wow.
Andy Gadiel. Any Fish fans?
Yeah.
But do you remember that? I don't know if you're old enough to remember Gadiel's. He was like the original online database of songs that Fish played at every show.
Wow.
So
I
like
just want to say, Carl, this one's for you.
That's right. Carl.
when my friend Lex found out that tech support on Discord was Andy Gadiel, he was like, "Oh my god!" He was starstruck. He was freaking out. But Andy Gadiel designed this Discord bot that does all these things on our Discord server. And one of the things that he can do is if you type in %request and the name of one of my songs, it gets added to a list that I can just call up whenever I want. So anybody so I just started playing the requests of the people watching the show and sort of talking about it in real time. And stage one became like, okay, let's decide which of my songs we really want to have in my pocket. Like, and which ones, like, nah, not so much. Because I've written hundreds and hundreds of songs, and some of them are really good, and some of them are not so good. And so the stage one was like, let's decide which songs we really want in my pocket. And so for the next year, the trick was trying to play every song I could remember how to play. And luckily, like I had there are luckily there are people that are watching that were from like the early days of amusement in New Mexico and like my whole career. So, I mean, I got this guy Abe that was asking to hear stuff that I'd forgotten these songs ever existed. So, because of their help, I never would have done it on my own. There's so many songs I've played in the last year that I wouldn't even have thought of.
Now, when we're watching, do you have the lyrics in front of you anywhere, or
We have an online songbook.
Okay, all right, that makes
So
sense.
you're pulling
and
it
so
up.
like for the first year, it was like a whole thing. Like whatever song, if I wrote it, I will try to play it.
Yeah.
And if I can't play it tonight, I will play it for you tomorrow night. I will make it a point to after I go off air, I'm gonna find a version of that song, learn it, and sing it to you tomorrow night.
Yeah.
And then we'll decide whether it's goes. Our metaphor for it is the bottom of the ocean, in the boat, or in my pocket. So if a song is on the bottom of the ocean, we got to bring it up. Like, okay, it's in the boat, but it's not in my pocket. Okay,
Yeah.
that one's going back.
yeah.
That one's going back to the bottom of the ocean.
Yeah,
I'm gonna.
that's a good one.
I know. Well, I kind of want to. There's so much I want to hit.
I know, right?
But I know time's going to be our enemy on this podcast.
That's all
So,
right. Don't worry.
one of my favorite things is your sign off.
Yep.
How did you come up with your sign off? And could you tell everyone what your sign off is?
Gosh, we even have a post. That was a lot of it was from the pandemic days. Be silly, be honest, and always trust your cape.
Always trust your cape. What is that?
Guy Clark.
Guy Clark.
That actually, I didn't even know it was Guy Clark. It was something our friend Henry, who passed away, used to always say. Always trust your cape. And so I just thought it was her. I thought it was Henry. She passed away sort of around the same time. So it was sort of a tribute to her that I started saying it. And I never really listened to Guy Clark very much, but he has a song that she got it from called Always Trust Your Cape.
Gotcha.
That I've since learned. I've since learned he's somebody I should listen to even more because I still only heard a little bit.
Our buddy Jesse Stover loves Guy Clark.
Oh, absolutely.
And it was like, so he's. Thanks.
Let's
Thanks,
go.
man.
One of my favorite things I always wanted to put in my bio is once we opened for Sam Bush at the Great American Music Hall in San Francisco, and I'd never met him, but I knew I wanted to make an impact on him. So I cornered him and his wife after the show, and I was like, can I sing you guys a song? And I sang him a song, and his immediate response to it was, that reminds me of when Guy Clark was alive. And Guy Clark was still alive. And I always
good.
wanted to use that. I was like, but I thought I would get him in trouble if I ever said it out.
Well,
or put
I'm
it
going to
on
be
a
on the
poster.
nose. What does trust the cape mean?
Always trust your cape.
What does it mean?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
But don't answer it if you don't. If
Is
it's
it like a
too
superhero thing, or is it like I just need a really sturdy piece of cloth to protect me from the weather?
Always trust your cape.
Don't
It's a superhero thing for
Okay.
sure.
Yeah.
It's not like an ode to oilcloth
It's
in Canvas.
it's funny. The line before that, though, is give them heaven.
Give him heaven.
Show mercy.
Show mercy.
That's perfect.
What's
that
your-
makes you feel
What
good.
songs do you have lined up for the the Sagebird show, or what's your process for picking the songs?
Well, that's one thing that's been so fun is that one of the things that's been frustrating about the daily practice over time and only recently started to irk me was because I have, I don't know, close to 400 songs that we've decided are in the boat.
Yeah.
I have been frustrated that it's too many songs to really practice to develop muscle memory, like the actual idea that like you can do a definitive version like that. Like I would come up with something really cool for a song, but then because I had so many songs, I wouldn't play it again for a month. And then it would get requested again, and I'd play it, and I'd be like, "Oh, what was that? That was cool what we came up with." And so I kept on. For the first like 7 months, it all felt like progress. I was like, "Oh my God, this is amazing!" Like I forgot about this song. I'm remembering all the words to all the songs again. They're getting back in my pocket. But then I sort of hit a wall, and I was like, "There's got to be some way that we can just pick a group of songs and just focus on those, so I can actually play like a song every day or whatever, and so people can feel that growth. Like we'd never felt that." And this show at the Sagebird has given me a great excuse to like include the people watching. Like, okay, we need to come up with a set list. I got a show. We're doing a show. So now, last night we decided on like the 7 songs, and tonight I'll be doing the set and then we'll talk about it. And then tomorrow night I'll do it again. The next night I'll do it again, and then Saturday I'll do it for real.
Tell me again, who's the we that you keep referring?
Whoever's watching.
Whoever's watching. So it's a collective community zeitgeist.
I mean, without them, the set would have been completely different.
It could be anybody.
It's wild. You really must watch this practice.
I will also say you don't know the people who watch daytime. So I drive around Augusta County, working for Augusta County Public Schools, solving problems at different schools. So if I have a problem in Craigsville, I'm pumped because I get to listen to like 45 minutes of your show.
Nice.
I don't see you. It's because it's just on YouTube
Good.
or whatever.
Good
But I just
radio.
get to listen. But it is good radio. That's the thing. It's on YouTube, but you don't need to see it.
Yeah, right.
As much
right.
as you just listen to him
Right.
talk or
Yep.
to him, because he's very. Something you do that I think is good is your good job explaining what's happening. You know, you don't need to see it. He does a good job of being like, "What do you think about this part? Is this a good part? Do you like that?" But you don't stop too much.
It's a delicate balance.
Yeah. No,
right,
that's
right.
key because otherwise I would lose interest if you were stopping too much. I think I'm just being honest.
Yeah.
When you did the, hey, I want you guys to help me write the solo, or I'm gonna do a solo, do it 80 times or whatever, and it was 4 hours long.
Yeah, it was.
That was now I'm not gonna lie. I listened to probably 2 hours.
Oh, wow. That's impressive.
No, because I was just in the car, and I was like, whatever. I'm just not gonna change it. I'm just gonna let it ride. You know, just whatever. But I was like, I've heard that same solo 75 times. You're doing fine.
Yeah.
Stick with 48 or whatever the number was.
You're like driving to Roanoke listening to 99 bottles of beer on the wall. Only it's like 400 bottles of beer on the wall.
We had just
Amazing.
a few nights before I did that stream trying to get the solo for that song, we watched La Bamba. And there's this great scene where he's in there with his volatile brother in the studio, and the producer keeps making him sing it again. Right. And he did 80. That was like our that's why I stopped at 80 like in the spirit of La Bamba. But the brother was so it was so mad because like, why is this guy just making you sing? They all sound the same to me. Why is he getting you to? And so that was sort of the question that was being asked. Like what is the difference? Like, yeah, to most people that are listening right now, it's going to sound like I'm playing the same thing over and over and over again. But the truth is, one of them's going to be the one.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, right.
And if you want to play that game, it could be fun. Like because you're actually then sitting there with different ears. Like, no,
Yeah.
Right. And it's for most people incredibly boring.
No. It was we had just played that game.
Yeah.
We just recorded a song in my brother's basement. Put it online just this last week, and it's fun. And we said we
Over and over.
Oh yeah,
Over.
we recorded the same. No, we recorded it live.
Yeah,
with
right.
4 people, all playing instruments, and we said, well, what we get's what we get, and then
How many takes?
no, I have no idea, 10.
Yeah, I would say 10 or 12.
Yeah,
Something like
and then we said, well, let's listen to it and figure out which one we like.
Yeah.
And it's funny because there are plenty of parts of the one that we chose that I like, but there are other parts I liked on other ones too.
Yeah, right.
Hey,
It's the
but
whole thing.
Hey, but that's like, I love to me that's the Neil Young way of doing it. Neil Young infamously Harvest Moon and Harvest, he would just say, here's the song, let's record it.
Yeah.
And then you
Bob
get
Dylan, same way.
Yeah, you get what you get.
First or second take.
Yeah, first or second take. That's it. And then I'll play with it later.
Yeah.
Right.
But as far as like, there's something raw and beautiful about grabbing.
No doubt about it.
There's and
Diminishing returns are just as likely as
but it's I love that you give us an inside look in the music. In that I think it's authentic, and I think that's that. And well, Jay Sayre is actually doing something really cool right now. Well, you want to explain just briefly kind of what you're up to?
What?
Jay's like,
What
what,
am
are you
I-
talking about?
what
Be
am I-
online?
That guy in Brazil.
Yeah.
What are you doing with him?
Well, it's a company. I feel I have imposter syndrome talking to this man here. But,
You're really you, Jay. You really are.
it's a company that was started in Portugal during the pandemic, and it's called Musiversal.com, and they have musicians all over the world. You pay a monthly fee, which is extremely reasonable, and then you can have unlimited recording sessions with these folks.
Oh, that's so
All over the world.
up
All
my
over the
street.
world.
Yeah.
And he's played with, the recording that we're going to play that closes this podcast out is a recording that he did with what?
Well, his name is Andre Vasconcelos. I can't pronounce it. He's one of like the top jazz bassists in Rio de Janeiro.
Wow. So how does it work? Do you upload tracks
Yeah,
to
right,
it, or
right.
you just network?
You book you go on, you say 3:15 Thursday the 12th Andre Vasconcelos, and you book him, and then it takes a minute, and then you get your tracks together, and you have to send in it's got to be a certain BPM,
Mm-hmm.
and you send in your tracks that you want them to play along with, and then you zoom in and.
Oh, you're talking to him.
You're talking
to him.
Do a
Yeah.
little
You-
online session.
Yeah, and you can say,
Yeah.
"Hey, go back to measure 12 and do that," and then sometimes they'll say the Brazilian guys are really great. Sometimes they'll play it and then they'll say, "Well, here's how it really should be," and they'll go on. But it's gotten to be
I love
really.
that.
It's the fascinating part to me at this point is just hanging out with these guys who have in different countries and. Who you think they nailed the session in 5 or 10 minutes and just like hang out. And
Are
talk.
you paying him for the session as well,
I am not. No,
or is your monthly fee?
it's a monthly fee covers it. It's not whatever I'm paying cannot be covering what these guys are getting paid. My understanding is there's still a bunch of Brazilian venture capital behind this. They're trying to get this thing off the ground. Or
That is fascinating.
it really is. It's a really interesting experience.
Will there be a link for that? On
Oh,
the
we
page?
we could throw a link on there. Yeah. Easy.
Man, I hope
I mean,
we have
I'm-
sponsorship.
Yeah, I know, right? Wait a second.
Right,
Come on,
yeah.
Brazilian people. Give us some money.
Sponsored by Brazil.
Venture capital.
Speaking of the technical aspect of things, how long did it take for you to figure out the right setup for your practice? Because you've got multiple cameras, and it's inspired us. We are thinking about an idea along the same lines, but like you've got multiple cameras, you're playing multiple instruments. I notice you're tapping things on the floor. You've got different screens set up. What's your setup?
Boy,
It's got to be
It's complicated.
complicated.
it is super
Yeah.
complicated.
Yeah.
Are you changing
But
the
I-
cameras
I-
yourself? The camera angles yourself live?
Yeah.
While you're
Yeah.
doing it.
Okay.
All right,
Holy
good.
smokes.
That was a question.
And it
we
is
had.
just you. There's no one else helping run it stuff in the background, or
I thought of a joke over bingo where it was like, actually, my secret is that I'm not really that good at any of this stuff. What I am is an amazing cat trainer. But I haven't really worked out the delivery
Yeah,
yet.
that's
Gotcha.
fine. That works. Yeah. Knock knock.
meow.
Meow who?
Another thing that I
I
appreciate.
do love the buttons.
It feels very produced. Now let me ask you this then: who's putting up that picture that's on your back? You're
That's Fourth Wall. That's Gadiel Tech Support created. There's several things that are happening there. It's generated by Percy the bot on our Discord server. So you can type in wherever you're watching, even on YouTube. If you type in $art and describe what you want to see in the window, that's what pops up.
get out of here. No way.
Okay.
You can even do $song art and just say the name of the song, and Percy will take one of the verses and generate AI art to go with the song.
So the
lyric.
people watching, they're the ones doing this.
The
They're
people
the ones
watching
Oh
are,
my
are
God.
putting
But-
the art
but-
in the window,
but
and
you-
that's why it's so on point sometimes. But you
Yeah.
can also go in our Discord server and just upload a GIF or something directly into that room.
Okay,
and not
because
have
that's-
Percy generate it.
Yeah, okay.
You
So it
have
could be
these-
like an animated GIF or whatever that just fits the song. So they're out there making the show happen.
Wow.
It's sort of like the Surly in the Morning news thing that you said
Yeah,
that you
yeah.
watched a little bit, but like the ticker that was crawling at the
Yeah.
bottom, that was all Percy people listening generated ticker stuff. That's why it's so topical and funny and happening in real time.
Wow.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
Did you
that's very
name
cool.
Percy, or did it?
Percy's our dog.
Okay.
It was also another one of my alter egos.
Yeah.
Percy Boyd. Yeah.
There it is. Yeah.
Who was in a famous Canadian trilogy that everybody in high school in Canada reads. There was a character in one of the trilogies called Percy Boyd Staunton. So
Now, how well do you know the people that are watching the show? I mean, do you interact with them outside of the show, or is it just these are just people that are they're watching the show? You've seen them there before, and I've seen you call them out like, "Oh, it's good to see you again."
there's a couple that I know,
Yeah.
and most I don't.
Yeah. Okay.
Are they zooming in too, and you have an option of seeing their faces?
During the pandemic, we did a lot of that, but not during the practice.
They just are on Discord,
Discord
and
or
on
YouTube.
YouTube.
I mean, we used
chat,
to,
yeah.
During the pandemic, we had all kinds of stuff. You should watch some of the. My friend, my good buddy Lex and I have a electronica act doing electronica jammy versions of my songs called The Whole Other, and we used to do the Friday night Get Right during the pandemic, and that was, I mean, we had all full green screen. And then people were uploading animated GIFs to become the backdrop, so
Yeah,
they would
yeah.
decide what world we were inhabiting. But wait, what was I just talking about? Though?
That's good.
This was specific. What did you just say?
Rewind it.
Oh gosh,
Zip, 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 zip,
Oh, no,
zip,
no.
zip. I don't know.
Oh, as far as like people interacting with people, I was at.
the during the Friday night Get Rights, we'd have like the voice channels of our Discord was a whole option. So we ended up having like a lot of live painters that we would cut to while we were jamming, or they would be our backdrop. We would be like in the foreground, and somebody would be live painting behind us.
Making real art.
But it was also just like
Live art.
we were encouraging people just cut on your camera, put it on your fishbowl, or point it out.
Right.
If you don't want to be on camera, you can still provide some kind of visual content for the show.
Is this you or
Puppets.
Is this part of a thing? Is there other people like you doing this, or what? The hell?
know.
yeah,
More
that is a very good
My
question.
mind is f***ing blown.
World.
Sorry.
No, hold on. I really appreciate that. Wait till
Yeah.
you watch it.
Yeah.
That's where we landed.
Yeah.
We landed because
I didn't know what the hell you were talking about.
No, because this guy, I don't know that other people are doing what you are doing.
Yeah,
And
right.
it is
well, especially on such a
so
consistent
engaging.
basis.
So
Yeah.
engaging, and it's
How did you hook up with this? How did you?
Well, I mean, I literally just knew him from. He's a great writer, songwriter, and that lives in Stanton, and that's how I knew about it.
It was
That's
probably
all-
Bruce that
yeah, Bruce.
that
Yep.
got
Marinos,
the Marinos
Bruce.
gig.
Yep,
Yeah.
yep, and
Because when Marinos first opened up, they did like a PBS TV thing and like invited us all to go down there, and they had a film crew in there and stuff. And Bruce, I didn't know him, but he played with Lex and I on the song "Holler and Hope" on that TV special.
oh,
on
fun.
this,
Yeah, well, he's the best.
and that,
Yeah, Bruce Johnson.
Yeah.
God bless you.
the rest is history.
Actually, I can tell you, and I'm killing myself. I can't think of his name right now, but there was a guy that lives here in Harrisonburg who was like, no, this guy Nathan Moore. This was in early 2000s.
Right.
He was like, there's a guy Nathan Moore. He's the real deal. You got to get him at the Little Grill. And I
Yeah.
was booking music at the Little Grill at
Oh,
the
wow.
time. And actually, I'm pretty sure I was the one that booked you at the Little Grill. And I this was early, probably 2001.
I think it was 2002 when because if you were in town. But did you live in Stanton at that time?
That's about when I came back.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So I remember Carl.
Oh yeah, Carl.
His name was his
Gosh,
last
I haven't seen him in years.
But Big Carl.
Big Carl, yeah.
Heart of gold.
Yeah.
Wonderful human.
Yep.
But Carl loved you and was like, we got to get this guy to the
That's
Little
so
Grill.
sweet.
Early 2000s. And I remember you played, and I remember that you did something with a little ball on your
Magic
guitar.
tricks. Yeah, I
you
was
did
trying to become the
Oh.
world's first sleight of hand musician back
Yeah.
then. Percy Boyd, the world's first sleight of hand musician.
He did magic tricks, and
Shorty, Joby.
Joby.
yeah.
Joby does
Yeah,
magic.
the
He
New
does the-
Orleans street musician slash or street
Right.
musician slash accordion player.
And he lives here now?
Yeah, he's
yeah.
fantastic.
He's
I
in
gotta meet
amateur
this guy.
rodeo.
No, he played the accordion on the song that I just
Yeah.
recorded.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And
I was
he
wondering
is-
about that.
He's phenomenal.
That's
Yeah.
great.
And the real deal.
Right.
Like you meet this guy, you're like,
We're the old busker
Yeah. He was
mentality.
He made his living for a while doing street magic in New Orleans.
Yeah.
I did street magic in Austin.
Wow.
So funny.
Ah,
did
had
you,
a little
you know the
booth and
dice
everything.
trick? You know where you're like, you can be like, pick up.
look, it's different every time.
Yeah, every
I turn
time
my
I
hand.
move it.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
amazing.
Oh, yeah.
He did that for us. Blew my mind.
Yeah.
You probably buy
You
that
gotta
for-
love it.
Then he played
You gotta
accordion.
love it.
Blew my mind.
Blew my mind. In fact, Joby, I love you.
Yeah, right.
We got to get Joby on the show.
Yes.
Maybe he'll
absolutely.
be lucky and he'll come to your show on
Oh.
this weekend.
Yeah, I'd love to
support
meet this
his
guy.
bandmate.
Yeah.
Well, I
He's
was
great.
going to say, well, he plays accordion with Julia Catherine.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Or Cottrell or whatever.
Catherine Cottrell.
Yeah.
Julia
That's why I
And-
haven't.
All the
That's one of the reasons why I haven't said her name when I'm talking about the shows
I
because
know.
I've heard 3 different ones now.
Nah, I'm not.
Julia.
Julia.
Like
Why
Mom
are you
Shekels
pointing
has
at me?
3 different names. too.
Right.
Ah.
Truth.
Whatever.
I want to know about that.
Oh, we could just rewind it.
No. Your name.
Right. Well, okay. Here's a tie-in to what you were talking about. Ruby's is trying to kick us out. They
Oh,
don't
yeah.
want us
There-
to leave.
We'll get there. We'll get
Okay.
there.
So when you I feel like this happened at the same time, a Meanwhile Elsewhere kind of situation when you played at the Grill in the early 2000s. Because I was home. I was in Harrisonburg at the time. I was at the Artful Dodger, where I got the name. This was like probably later in the summer. Someone came up to me, and I'm just like doodling in a journal or so in a backpack or something there at the Dodger outside, where anything walked by.
Right.
Anything happened. Someone walked up to me and he handed me a CD and he said, "You need this more than I do." And then he disappeared. And I had a CD player in my car, so I listened to it on the way home and I was like, okay, this is fun. I was like really into hippie dippy at that time. And I was like, oh man, I got this cool CD for free from some like hippie guy, and like this is like destiny, man. You know, but it was good. It was decent, and it was Percy Boyd's Lost Tracks.
Oh, you're
Whoa!
Yeah. So
Whoa.
No,
yeah.
I didn't know there
So-
was a connection.
Yeah. Okay. So
What?
I heard you guys at Marino's when you were playing with.
Was it
the
me
heavy
that
song.
gave you that?
Dude, I have no idea.
Wow.
That person is just like a gray figure in my memory. You know.
Could be then.
Carl.
Could have been Carl.
Freaking Carl,
Who
you
knows?
know it was.
Yeah.
I mean,
he
it
was-
could have
he
been
was on
like
it.
Goth Dan. I don't know. Like who had like hung out in the spring house that whole summer. But so when you played at Marino's, I was sitting there with my friend Aaron and Scott, and I'm like, man, this guy sounds familiar. And I'm like, who is it? I'm like, who does he sound like? Guys, who does he sound like? And they're Tom Waits and naming names, you know, like after every one of your like inspirational people that
Mr. Hat.
you sound like, yeah, right? And I'm like, no, it's not. I've heard this before. Where have I heard it? I'm beating myself up. It's driving me insane. And by the end of the night, I finally figured it out that I had heard you playing on this CD that I got in 2002 that yeah, and
That's
I was like,
amazing.
"Oh my god, it's Percy Boyd!"
Yes. I love that
Like
story.
my favorite, yeah.
Oh
So,
my gosh.
Mum Shackles kind of happened on a similar kind of situational vibe. The Dodger, you meet
Yeah.
people,
Very cool.
yeah.
All right, I got a weird question for you. How many times have you seen Todd Snyder? You mentioned him the other night, and it was about banter.
Probably like 7.
7, yeah. Great, yeah.
I got to sing him a song once.
Did you?
I tried to pull the Sam Bush thing. I
Yeah.
was like, hey, can I sing you a song? We were both at the same festival.
Cool.
I don't think he liked it. As much as
But no, I appreciate you talking about him because it was just the idea of banter, being able to engage with your audience. And sometimes the storytelling or just what you have to say directly to audience is just as important as the music.
Oh,
and
yeah.
and I think that's very cool. Like the idea of connecting with your audience. It's not just writing good songs. It's not just being an excellent or prolific performer, but being able to connect with them directly. I think it's cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you do that very well, even online. I think that's very cool.
That says a lot.
Yeah.
Because you're not riffing off them. Well, I mean, I get the chat helps.
Yeah. Sure. Yeah.
Right.
Well, thank you for joining us
Oh,
tonight.
what a blast.
Yeah.
I really appreciate
I hope you had a good
all
time.
very
Yeah.
much.
Yeah, this has been fun.
It
Oh, my
really
God.
has been.
It's been, yeah.
We've blown Jay's mind.
Blow Jay's mind.
Jay's mind.
I have to go back and bleep something he said.
I know. I love that. I love that.
Can I say something
That's
real
always
quick?
a good sign.
Real quick, if
That's
you're listening to this in real time and it's May 12th, the SPCA has 50 dogs from Broadway. I got to see some of them today. They're all cute little dogs, and so if you're thinking about fostering or dropping a few bucks to
Okay.
help the depleted fund for helping dogs, that'd be greatly appreciated.
Cool. Thank you, Jay.
Yep. That's awesome.
So that's a buzzkill. Sorry.
No, if you want to
No, it's
reenact
okay.
that scene from Bridesmaids where Melissa McCarthy is driving by in the van, and she's like, I think I overcommitted. If you want to reenact that scene, this is your time. Because they got 50 dogs.
50
cute,
dogs.
fresh dogs
Fresh.
down at the SPCA.
You don't have to foster them all at once.
No,
right?
no.
Okay.
Just
But you
pick
could.
one.
One.
Just pick one.
You could just pick one.
Just one.
Yeah.
All right. So to reiterate, gosh, I think we've hit it. I think we've hit it all
We did.
all night though. May 17th. We're gonna be playing a show. You're gonna be playing a show.
Yeah,
with us,
looking
Nathan.
forward
No live stream, no magic tricks, no looping, no.
He's
We didn't
coming
even-
out of the
no looping.
basement,
Yeah.
guys.
We
Oh,
didn't
yeah.
even get into that.
Yeah,
One
we
of the
did.
things I love is your dang looping.
Oh,
Oh,
no
my
doubt.
gosh.
And the piano too. We're like, we'll get you a piano if you want a piano.
That's right.
Yeah. But
Probably rolled
you know
the
what's
one
what
down
this is
square.
this has been awesome. Super fan.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Mom Shackles, great story. Unexpected.
Oh, no.
Like,
Boom.
I was like, we got Nathan Moore. I got to figure out a way to how to tell this story.
Yeah. Oh, that's so cool.
Connection.
All right, y'all. Well,
So thanks so much for coming down, and maybe the music is playing.
I
in the-
believe so.
I hear it.
On top
I
of the
hear it.
bowling stuff, once
Oh.
again brought to you by Ruby's Arcade. Is where we are in scenic downtown Harrisonburg. Bingo is Life every Tuesday night at 7:30, and you can listen to us on Bingo is Life, the podcast, anytime you want to on the internets. Thanks so much again to Nathan Moore, and we'll see you next week, kids.
good night. Good night. Bingo is Life, a post-bingo Harrisonburg podcast, is brought to you by the Brothers How to Show and our friends at Ruby's Arcade in downtown Harrisonburg, Virginia. If you've enjoyed the show and feel it's worth spreading a little joy in this world, please tell just one person that you like this podcast. Word of mouth, more than any other form of promotion, is how creative works get noticed and sustain themselves. Thank you, Andrew Hickey, for that bit of wisdom, and thank you, listeners, for being part of the fun.